Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. So, one more of my classic old vintage watches. This is a Casio. This is actually the first Casio watch I ever purchased back in 1985. I was in South America in Bolivia, and I bought this at a store. Originally, I went in there to have them change the battery on another watch I had, and I saw this in the display case, and I thought, oh, that's a nice thing. I think I'll get that. So, very attractive, 50-meter water resistance. It had a countdown timer that I wanted, and just a nice overall, nice starter watch of my Casio collection going back now, to 1985. This is model WH-28, uses module 495, and there are probably a lot of digital watches that operate almost exactly the same as this one. So first, let me show you, there is a reset on this, a complete reset by pressing all 4 buttons at once, which could be a little bit tricky because you got to get in there. This one is a little bit harder to press, but if I can coordinate my fingers here and press all 4 buttons at once, there you go, a complete reset back to, January 1st, first day of the week, Sunday, and 12 o'clock midnight. So first thing you're going to do when you get this watch is set this. So you can set the seconds simply by pushing, this button down here and resetting the seconds. Then hours, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and set this to the current hour. And unfortunately, when I hold this button down over here, it doesn't seem to make it scroll quickly. So I'm going to have to press it every time. So right now, the current time will be about 2:50. And let's see, it is January. Today's January 20th. So I'll scroll ahead here and set the date and then the day of the week. This is not a pre-programmed calendar, so I'm just going to have to tell it that the day of the week today is Wednesday. And so there I'm all set. Now, if I press this adjust button to stop things from blinking, there's my regular time mode. And if I press the 24-hour button here, then I change to 24-hour timekeeping or 12-hour timekeeping with a simple press of that button. The next mode on this watch, press mode, and I get into the stopwatch mode. So this is pretty typical of stopwatches on digital watches. I can start the stopwatch down there and just goes, hours, minutes, and seconds. And then this light button is my lap or split time button there. And then if I press that again, it's still going. It's also kind of nice that while this stopwatch is going, the local time is still visible up here in this little box there. Then my next mode is a countdown timer. So from here, if I go to start this, well, it actually doesn't do anything. I'm going to have to set, again, I can set the number of hours and minutes, by tens there or by 1. So, if I want it to be, an hour and 19 minutes, or if I scroll again, it says an hour and 10 minutes. So once I've got that set, then I can start that. And after that much time, it will beep. So it looks like maybe the maximum on here. Let's just see what we got. 11 and back to 0. So it looks like 11 hours, 59 minutes would be the maximum for your countdown timer on this particular watch. Next mode is the alarm. So pretty simple here. Again, you can advance this to whatever alarm setting you want. And there you go. Those digits advance separately. And okay, there's your alarm. And if I now stop that from blinking, of course, every time you adjust the alarm, it automatically turns the alarm on if it wasn't set to go already. And if I want to turn that off, I use this button, the light button, turn the alarm on or off. And then this button down here turns the hourly signal on or off. So if I want them both on, push both those buttons. If I want them both off, push both of those buttons, or I can do just one or the other. So pretty straightforward there, and that's it. Those are all the modes. A nice, simple watch, pretty straightforward, and I kind of like that. And as I said, this was my first Casio. Lithium. It says high temp LC. So I think back then in the beginnings of the liquid crystal display era, there was some question about how well these displays would hold up under different temperature conditions. So that must have been some new technology they were trying to highlight there, that this was a better LCD than some of the ones that came before. And I guess that's proven by the fact that here this watch is more than 35 years after I bought it, and the liquid crystal display still looks basically perfect compared to when it was brand new. As far as the light goes, this is pretty typical of watches of this era. It's not too impressive, and this isn't the best demonstration of what it really looks like. So you get that incandescent glow just on the one edge there that comes across. So if it's pitch black and there's, just really no other source of light, I guess you could see the time there. But again, this is, it pales in comparison to some of the backlights you'll see on newer watches. Now, unfortunately, the original resin watch band that came with this failed after a few years. That tended to happen with some of the watches I had from Casio back in the 80s and 90s. So I replaced it. I found a really nice metal watch band that matched up pretty well. So I've had this on here for several years now, and it's done pretty well. Pretty simple as far as, the back is held on by 4 screws, and it's been pretty easy for me to maintain this myself and change out the battery. It uses a lithium CR 2016 battery, and I have other watches that use that same size battery, so not bad at all. Anyway, there you go. After 35 years, still going strong. And so I like to use this from time to time, and I like to keep it in good shape and keep it in my special collection of vintage watches. All right, that's all for now. I'm going to have more episodes coming up, so I hope you will join me again soon for another new episode of The Good Timekeeping Show.